Alrighty. I imagine a lot of you guys are familiar with H3H3. He's one of the largest and most well-known YouTubers in, the history of, YouTubing. Pretty well respected over, the history of the platform, though I will admit lately, opinion of him in a lot of circles has gone down. And I think one of the biggest reasons that has to do with his very, very rapid left-leaning sort of push to his content that's happened over the last couple of years. More recently with the podcast he started with Hassan Piker, which is explicitly politically left-leaning. Now, back in the day, H3H3 was kind of an anti-SJW type. Like, legitimately. For those of you guys that aren't familiar, originally, the way that a lot of people found out about Jordan Peterson was actually through the H3H3 podcast. And, they had H3 had some positive things to say about Jordan Peterson back in the day, though his opinion has now changed quite a bit. And recently, H3 took down his episode of the H3 podcast where he featured Jordan Peterson. Now, some people have gotten pretty mad about it, and I figured, let's go ahead and watch one of these videos to see what the big deal is. I guess it all started
So
with
recently, Ethan...
Okay, alright, well, let's just play the video then.
So recently, Ethan Klein has been at war with the entire right-wing political spectrum. This has been an ongoing thing for the last year or so, and recently it's really amped up with him calling out Joe Rogan and now Jordan Peterson, who I consider to be two of the most famous people representing that side. It's interesting because these are two men he used to have immense respect for, and now he's pretty much stating publicly that they are the scum of society and are the kings of spreading misinformation. And keep in mind, he did all of this completely unprovoked. I'm gonna hyper-focus on this.
Okay, this is something that's, just unfortunately going to be a reality of making left-wing content online, okay? If you make left-wing content online, unfortunately, you're going to find yourself at odds with the popular opinion very, very often when it comes to any type of, drama that goes down, because people have a reactionary tendency to jump to the more reactionary opinion of any drama. I don't even think the person making this video is a conservative or anything like that, but I'm almost certainly willing to bet this person's argument is going to be that H3H3 took it too far and he's acting bitter and like an asshole or whatever. I guarantee it's going to be the core of this guy's argument.
Situation between him and Jordan Peterson today, because I think that's a lot more fun to talk about than some massive health debate. Either way, the beef between Ethan and Jordan started when Ethan tweeted out, "Years ago I interviewed Jordan Peterson before I was very familiar with his politics. He was an interesting guest who I enjoyed sitting with, but especially now I can see he's a dangerous gateway to alt-right, transphobia, and COVID misinformation. I removed both interviews today." To which Jordan later replied, "What are you up to, Ethan? We had a good conversation. I enjoyed meeting you and talking with you. What have I said precisely that motivated your actions and your accusations, deleting our discussion, an honest question? Also, I should warn you that those who engage in cancel culture generally live to regret it. I'm not going to come after you, except politely, in this Twitter stream, but the chickens will definitely come home to roost."
Okay. I hate that talking point, okay? It doesn't matter whether or not you yourself support cancel culture or not, okay? Cancel culture exists, and you will be a victim of it if you're a large public figure that does something that people don't like, regardless of whether or not you like or dislike cancel culture, okay? Do you think supporting cancel culture makes you less or more likely to get canceled? I hate that talking point. It's so fucking stupid. Deleting your own content is cancel culture. Literally all this is a large figure deciding that he doesn't want to associate with another large figure anymore and voluntarily deleting the videos where he platforms that figure. Literally, this is people getting mad that H3H3 refused to platform Jordan Peterson. That's literally all it is. People demanding, oh, how could H3 deprive Jordan Peterson of his platform?
You will be held to a higher and soon impossible to maintain ethical standard by the very mob you currently wish to please. Then you will make a mistake and they will devour you with glee. Please take this warning seriously. I liked you.
By the way, I want to say this right now. The people on the left who engage in the cancel-happy bullshit that are, saying things like Vosh is a pedophile or a Nazi, the people who support, Professor Flowers, the people who support Thought Slime, the people, who say that I have a sex cult, all that kind of shit, all of those people they are not the people that I make content for, okay? They're not the ones that I'm interested in pleasing with my content, and I doubt they're the types of people that H3H3 is trying to please with his content, okay? They may all disagree with Jordan Peterson. Doesn't mean that they're the ones that any of us left-wing figures are trying to please. Now, granted, I can't see inside of Ethan Klein's brain. I don't know exactly what he's thinking, exactly what he believes, and I don't even know if he's politically, aware enough for me to fully understand it to begin with, but overall, I think that, yeah, he probably means well.
Ethan responded to this by pulling out the receipts on why he can't fuck with JP, mainly consisting of his stances on conversion therapy, gender roles in society, and most notably his stance on the trans community and Bill C-16.
Oh, yeah. The Bill C-16 stuff, I think, should be a massive black mark on all of Jordan Peterson's career. For those of you guys that don't remember, back in 2017, 2016, around there, Canada introduced something called Bill C-16. It was actually an amendment to the already existing Bill C-16, I think. Basically, what it would do is add gender identity as a protected class in Canada. It already existed for other classes before. You couldn't do this. Black people, I guess we should say people of any race, people of any religion, etc., sexuality and whatnot were already protected under Bill C-16. All this did was make a move to try to make it so that gender identity would also be included as a protected class under Bill C-16, which also includes cis people, by the way. If you had theoretically, let's say in some crazy fever dream of an alternate universe, you're working at a job and your super feminist boss hates you because you're a man and is constantly making sexist comments at you because you're a man, saying that you're a part of the patriarchy and you should feel bad. You would be able to sue your boss for being sexist towards you because you're a man. It wasn't specifically meant to protect trans people. It was just meant to generally make it so that people can't discriminate against somebody in the government or in the case of a business offering services just on the basis of their gender. Now, basically what Jordan Peterson did was build his entire career on the idea that Bill C-16 was this 1984-esque Big Brother, you're going to get arrested and taken to prison if you accidentally misgender somebody on the street. That's the way that he made it out to be, and of course that's never actually what happened. It has been years that Bill C-16 has been enshrined in law in Canada, and nothing like that has yet to happen.
16, which was a bill to add transgender people to the list of communities protected against hate crimes. So there's obviously a lot to unpack here, but let me start out by saying anyone who creates original content online has the right to remove said content whenever they please. But I do believe this sets a very strange precedent and is very telling.
Why is it that every single time that I hear people in the commentary community complain about Ethan Klein criticizing somebody who's a piece of shit, it always has something to do with him setting a precedent? Why is it always that? That's always what it is. With the whole Steven Crowder thing, oh, he's setting a precedent. With the Keemstar and the sponsors thing, oh, he's setting a precedent. Oh, deplatforming JP on fucking JP on his channel. Oh, he's setting a precedent. What do you mean? What does that mean? What does it mean to set a precedent? Why am I hearing that so much? I think what it means is it's because they don't actually have any reasons as to explain why this is bad. All they have is a slippery slope argument as to how this could potentially end up being bad. They don't actually have any arguments.
Where Ethan's head is at right now. In general, it seems like H3 wants to scrub the internet of any sort of media that could tie him to the conservative side of the political spectrum because
that is very possible. I will say that it's possible that he wants to be more brand friendly and recognizes that the old content doesn't really age well. But it is also very possible that, as we know, Ethan Klein is left-leaning. It's very clear that Ethan Klein is a very left-leaning person. Even back in the day, he was a left-leaning person. It's obvious if you watch his content. Could it just be possible that he doesn't agree with that content anymore and he's just practicing what he preaches? Because that's what this is. He's practicing what he preaches. He advocates that people shouldn't platform problematic figures that spread misinformation, and now he's taken down a video, which, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if his interviews with with Jordan Peterson. I wouldn't be surprised if his interviews with Jordan Peterson were some of the highest earning and highest viewed content on his channel. And you may argue that him deleting those videos doesn't really affect him now because not that many people are watching that content now. But on YouTube, when you delete a video, YouTube considers you to have not had those views in the first place, like the views you got in that video in the first place. It considers you to have not gotten them. And I wouldn't be surprised that was one of his most viewed videos. So he might have lost like some substantial views on his channel in the sake of his principles. That's just practicing what you preach. I respect it.
Because all of his fans are now leftist. The thing is, when your platform becomes so one-sided that you can't even listen to someone else's ideology without basically calling them an idiot, you know better than these biased.
So the reason why H3H3's platforming of Jordan Peterson is different than, like, let's say if he'd had Jordan Peterson on to like debate or something, is because there was no pushback. All he did back then was platform Jordan Peterson with no criticism. He didn't have the knowledge at the time to understand the person he was dealing with was a bad faith actor. Now he knows, and now he doesn't feel comfortable with platforming Jordan Peterson's dishonest rhetoric on his channel, just to radicalize more people and introduce more people to his ideology. Imagine talking about one-sided platforms and showing the CNN logo instead of the Fox News or OAN one. Well, it could switch to more, but yeah.
News corporations like CNN and Fox. And at that point, I'm not sure I can see you as a genuine person with personal beliefs. Personally, I think Jordan Peterson is a bit of a know-it-all moral.
Also, what is the argument being made by this person? Like, so you're saying that because someone has a strong personal bias for certain ideas means that it doesn't feel like they have any real beliefs? Being a centrist doesn't mean you're right. You know that being a centrist doesn't make you right? Like, you just sound like an asshole when you come out and say, I have no strong opinions for either side. You sound like kind of a pussy.
High ground type of guy. But a lot of what he says is said with good intentions, and a lot of his content is just about bettering yourself and your life and fixing your relationships.
I will agree with that. A lot of Jordan Peterson's like self-help stuff and psychology stuff isn't that bad. I mean, that is what he has a really, really in-depth education behind. But, you know, even a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, he has just some really fucking shitty political opinions.
Honestly, he's one of the only people in mainstream media willing to stick his neck out for men these days. So in general, I don't...
I'm telling you guys, we're going back. We're going back to 2016, guys. Why am I always so right? Why am I constantly getting proven right? Are you guys seeing it too? Are you guys seeing how fucking right I was about how we're going back to 2016? We're going right fucking back, guys. I love it. Profit art.
Don't agree with Jordan about a lot of what he says, but you cannot deny his passion for helping confused young men. Also, I spent the morning watching a lot of the clips on his opinions on transgender legislation, and I think his arguments mainly come from a place of protecting free speech and a...
Sure, you can argue that his positions come from a place of protecting free speech, but that doesn't change the fact that he lies and spreads misinformation. Everything that he said about Bill C-16 was criminally, like, wrong. Like, Jordan Peterson, the thing that made Jordan Peterson's career, the Bill C-16 stuff, literally was so wrong, and he spread so much misinformation about that. I wouldn't be surprised if he set, like, trans acceptance back a decade alone.
A slippery slope argument when it comes to free will and control of individuals in this country. Either way, the idea that we should just eliminate and silence those who we don't agree with is a dangerous thought. That's why I have to have respect for Joe Rogan, because he will have some...
I disagree with this, okay? So here's the thing. I think it's good to platform anybody as long as you do it responsibly, right? I would be fine with having, like, Nick Fuentes on here as long as I'm, like, capable of debating whatever topic it is in a satisfactorily competent manner, right? Like, I don't care about who you platform as long as you push it back. The problem is, and the reason why H3 took those two interviews down specifically, was because they were uncritical interviews where he allowed Jordan Peterson to spread misinformation about Bill C-16, among other political issues. There's a difference between cleansing your platform of literally anybody who disagrees with you having any say or being able to speak and creating an echo chamber, and actively making sure that you don't allow people on your platform who are actively spreading misinformation to spread that misinformation with no pushback. That's all he did. Also, I love the policing of his own platform. I also love that, like, people online will complain about lefties not, like, practicing what they preach all the fucking time, but now you've got a lefty actually practicing what they preach and deciding not to platform a very large right-wing figure with bad ideas, even at the detriment of their own income and their own viewership, and they're complaining about it. It just goes to show that, like, the online, like, being a lefty online, you will never be able to fucking please people like this. Everything that you do will be too crazy and too politically motivated. There's all these people have, like, all these people can think of is, like, you're either white or political. You're a woman or you're political. You're fucking straight or political. They're literally just brain poisoned by the internet.
Someone he completely disagrees with on his show, who he knows his audience will hate. He just knows it's important to be covering the other side of the argument when you want to be spewing out a bunch of your personal opinions. Because
I would love to have this person on for a debate. Jamari, holy shit, 878,000 subs. Highly doubt I could get this person on my stream, but hey, Jamari, you want to come on stream and talk about it? I would love to have you on. Doesn't even have to be like a super hostile debate. It can be a completely friendly, like, conversation. I'm pretty sure I could change your mind on this in like 30 minutes or less, so hit me up if you want to.
Because that is the responsible thing to do. While on the other hand, Ethan is basically saying if you've said something that he disagrees with in the past, he's not going to allow you on his platform. I mean, I get...
That's not what he said. That's explicitly not what he said. The thing that literally the reason on Twitter as to why he gave for taking down those videos was that he spread misinformation, and he didn't want to platform said misinformation. I have no doubt. Hey, I guarantee if Jesse Lee Peterson, I always mix them up. If Jordan Peterson wanted to come on to H3H3 again tomorrow, but have it be a critical interview, he'd be fine with it. I guarantee H3 would be fine with it. Of course he would be. This is very, very weird, like, trying to guess what his intentions were here.
Why he's doing this, you know, he wants to stir up controversy. He's already all the way on the left side of the political spectrum, so he understands that starting beef with these right-wing people really isn't going to hurt him at this point. But I want to know what you guys think about this situation down below. Are you team Jordan Peterson? Are you team Ethan Klein? Are you...
I genuinely would love to talk to this person because I feel like I could change their... I feel like this person has no strong political opinions. I feel like I could just, like, explain to this person why he's wrong in, like, 5 minutes and change his mind. Well, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like, maybe even subscribing, ringing the bell icon over on YouTube if you're super based and want to help out the channel. And of course, follow my social media, all linked down below, including my TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and of course my, my fan Discord, where I play games with people, we do watch parties, and overall, it's just a fantastic community that you should definitely come hang out in. And of course, finally, if you want to support the channel financially so I don't end up having to stream to you guys from inside of a cardboard box with my phone, consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub over on my website, xanderhall.com/live, donating through Streamlabs, or even pledging me on Patreon. You can also donate or super chat over on YouTube. But no matter how you support me, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.